Thursday, June 16th, 2011. Once again, welcome. I'm going to call this the afternoon report. You can. For educational purposes, which falls under the heading of fair use, I've got a couple of clips from Russia Today that I want to share with you. One of which shows what's really going on in New York while the media is off pulling its pud someplace else, trying to make sure that Wall Street's shenanigans are not being covered. And the second one has to do with Barack Obama being sued. So let's get on with it, and we'll go from there.
Meanwhile, New York City has seen a small town of its own pop up a few blocks away from Wall Street in Mayor Bloomberg's backyard. City Hall has seen countless protesters on its doorstep since the economic collapse of '08. What's different is that this time the anger of the people is pushing them to camp out here. They're saying this is just the beginning, and they will spend day and night here until their message is heard.
Michael Bloomberg's got to go!
A loud no to Bloomberg's proposed budget cuts that would throw more jobs out the window.
And the war is masquerade! How do we fix the deficit?
The banks are sitting on trillions of dollars of our money, and we're going to stay here until we get it.
We want to make sure we're all prepared. So here we actually have pillows.
This resistance is inspired by global outbursts of protests over the last year.
Not only the governments here in our country, but the governments abroad don't seem to want anybody to have any kind of subsistence of living.
Citizen journalists are here. The mainstream media is not.
Once you go outside the path, you go outside the herd, and you start covering that unions and workers are fighting against cutbacks from a powerful mayor, and they want Wall Street to pay higher taxes. Well, those are likely your sponsors if you're a big commercial TV news operation.
As the media treads carefully around the issues, the people's anger is growing.
They say cut back! We say way back!
So how many will be camping out here for the media shaken out of its self-imposed oblivion to report what matters? Anastasia Churkina, RT.
Believe it or not, Weiner's resignation is not the most important news you need to know coming from the nation's capital. As the United States continues its military intervention in Libya, the two branches of government are now battling it out as a result. 10 members of Congress are suing the president in an attempt to end U.S. involvement in Libya for failing to get congressional approval. The White House, for its part, claims it is not in violation of the law because it's not actually at war, but is operating in a support role. First, I kind of want to look at that. I want to throw up a graphic so you can decide what you think the U.S. involvement has been in Libya. Take a look. So those are all the U.S. resources when you think about planes and ships and flights. And now look at, compared to another NATO ally like the U.K. Quite a difference. Look at it next to France. Again, quite a difference. This is not exactly up to today's date, but it represents the first couple months of this military intervention. You can decide what kind of a role you think the United States has had, how significant it is and has been.
You can take away whatever you want from those videos. Brought them to your attention so that you can see what really isn't being covered in the United States and the media today. However, this brings up a bigger issue, at least for me. Not sure how to explain this, so bear with me, please. From the right, what little trickles into my radar screen, there is noise on the street that there should be a civil war against the liberals because Obama is taking this nation to, take your choice here, guys. It's either Sharia law or it's socialism or might even be fascism. Truth of the matter is, from my perspective, I consider it soft fascism, and from what we're seeing, it's starting to get to be a little heavy-handed. Now, let me pause there and remind you, a couple of days ago on the No Facebook I showed you an article where the left union organizers, peace activists, any of Obama's critics are now being hounded by the FBI for no reason at all. I want you to think about that. Now there's this idea out there, like I said, on the street, coming from the right, that Obama is a liberal. Well, first of all, if you'll get your head square on your shoulders and look at exactly what he is doing and not what he says or others say about him, Obama is not progressive, Obama is not liberal, and Barack Obama, quite frankly, is not much better than Richard Milhouse Nixon. And he's definitely not more liberal than Nixon was, past tense. So to say that you want to declare some kind of Christian jihad against the liberals means that you will not in any way, shape, or form straighten out the problem. Now, there's another thing about that that brings to mind Christian jihad. One of the things that bothers me the most about the right especially, and while you have some true fundamentalist Christians on the right who go to church every time the building is open, unless of course they're out there politicking, you also have, and I've noticed this especially among the young ones, kids who quite frankly have no use for the church, no use for fundamentalist Christianity, but by God, they are going to defend Christianity to the hilt because they think that's their God-given duty. Now, mind you, it's a religion they don't agree with. It's a religion they don't follow. It's a religion they don't care about. It's a religion they will not make donations to. It's a religion that they want to have nothing to do with. They want to be as far away from it as possible. It drives them crazy because, quite frankly, it's a religion based on a certain fantasy and fallacy, which they know intellectually that they cannot uphold. But by God, they're going to defend Christianity against the heathen liberals out there. Yeah. I don't even know. I mean, does that qualify as hypocrisy, or does that qualify as some form of mental illness? Now, the other thing, again, Barack Obama is not a liberal. He ran on a progressive platform that was reminiscent to many of the issues of the 1970s and has proceeded to throw out about half the promises he made. We are still in Afghanistan. Matter of fact, we are pretty close to expanding that war into Pakistan. But Osama bin Laden is now dead. So we are still engaged in Iraq, even though it's not officially. Well, we weren't officially in Laos either, or Cambodia. But I guess that's a part of history that doesn't really matter either. And now we're supporting the operation in Libya. Yeah. Now, someone left me a message the other day. So I'm going to break here for a second. Someone left me a message the other day that said Ron Paul will not stop the wars because Ron Paul is owned by big oil. Now, I don't dispute that at all. That's considering where he hails from, the area he represents. I would tend to believe that. However, if you have some reputable sources to document that, not just conventional wisdom, I'd like to see them. Because right now, he's trying to get a certain part of the progressive vote by saying he's going to shut down the wars. And if you can prove he isn't, I'd like to see that, because I'm going to do my damnedest to spread that around. It's good to know. There's one other thing. Once again, I got a call from, they changed the name from Organizing for America to Organizing for Obama. And the guy asked me to make a donation of $150 to his campaign. I informed him I am currently unemployed. He said yes, he could understand that because that's why he volunteered to make phone calls instead. Then he turned around and asked me whether or not I'd be willing to volunteer to, re-elect the president. Committee to re-elect the president. Boy, doesn't that sound familiar. Anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look up CREEP, Nixon White House, second term, Watergate scandal, go for it. Anyway, he asked me whether or not they could count on my support for the Obama re-election. I simply told him, well, good luck with that. That ended the conversation. And with that, we'll end this one as well. Thank you for your time. May your God go with you. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye for now.